when our kids were little, they would play this game in preschool where you had to put a mystery item in a brown paper bag and take it in, and you put a letter on the outside of the bag, and then you'd write a little riddle clue. And so one day, our kids brought in a brown paper bag, had the letter O on it, and the riddle was, something like, it's a tasty treat, it's sweet to eat, and all these preschoolers got excited, like, we're getting Oreos today, But because of their, who our kid's mother is, it was actually oranges in there with no Oreos. And all of and there was weeping and gnashing of teeth, in the preschool that day. It became Gehenna that day. And I think this is a little bit like what happens to the world out there. We go, hey, do you want to be a Christian? And they're like, what's in the bag? And we're like, oh, you got to vote this way, you got to act this way. And they're like, I don't think so, actually. I wrote this book because I feel that we are living in a profoundly confusing age right now. I think there's voices, and we can look at it and go, oh, that's how the church has been corrupted. We look at leaders who've fallen, scandals, failures, political agendas, and we go, the church has been corrupted and co-opted. But there's another crosswind where you go, actually, there's just a whole bunch of confusing voices. Gavin and I were talking about this last week. Like someone says, oh, I heard so-and-so say that this is what God is like, or this is what Jesus thinks. And you go, well, who is that person? Did they have they studied the Bible or anything? I don't know, but they have 1 million followers on TikTok. And popularity has replaced credibility. And so we've got this age of corruption and this age of confusion, and these two crosswinds are blowing us around to and fro. And it makes me think of that story that I told you when we did this series 1.5 years ago, the We Believe series, that in the old prairie days when a blizzard was coming up, it would be so blinding that the farmers would have to put a rope up between the house and the barn, so that when you walked out to the barn to do your chores, you wouldn't get lost in a very familiar terrain because of the blinding nature of the blizzard. I'm telling you, you all know people who are walking away from faith, who are confused about Jesus, who are hurt by the church, and we're living in this moment where people are just like getting lost out in the blizzard. But the early Christians put a rope up for us, and the rope is this confession. We believe in the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. And this confession is meant to lead us back to the heart of who God is and to help us. When we did this series here, the lights that came on for me were like, oh, it's not just about what these words mean. It's about what a life that lives these words looks like. And that's why, Rock Harbor, that's why I dedicated it to you. The book is dedicated to the people of Rock Harbor Church. Keep believing and living like it's true. Because that's our witness to the world. Not that we're just so clever at explaining doctrine, but that we're so faithful by God's grace and the power of the Holy Spirit to live like these words are true.